Hey everybody, this is Craig from Nine Games, and today I am going to review, and this is very special, Hand of Fate. I'll put my hat on because my hair is fucking terrible. Alright, Hand of Fate is a roguelike game. It's card-based, it's an RPG, it's a dungeon crawler. Yeah, that's about it. Let's say this, if I was to describe Hand of Fate, I would say it was like, this is gonna be hard. Let's say it's like Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons were dating for a really long time and they got together very nicely, and then Magic proposed one day and Dungeon said yes, and then had a bachelorette party and then fucked Diablo and got pregnant but didn't tell anybody, and then went home and had Magic the Gathering raise the baby as its own, where it's still kind of like the same, but there's something that would be like, that's not mine. I want a DNA test. Let's go to Maury. That's what you get here. And what I'm saying that is, I'll actually show you. When you get to a certain point in this game, you get to play in endless mode. Any card-based game or any RPG roguelike game that has an endless mode, I'm automatically going to like. Now, let me get this out of the way before I forget, because I'm supposed to tell you that this game is not going to be available until 4 p.m. tomorrow. Well, today for you guys, which would be Tuesday, on PlayStation Network, so please go and get it when you do. Here's your main hub. There's no online, blah, blah, blah. The game is based, he's fucking mouthy. I don't like that. You get cards. As you do the story mode, you accrue more cards, and then you can use them to build decks and play. And every scenario is randomized, so the game is different. You might encounter the same things, but not necessarily in the same order. And I'll show you what I'm talking about, because we're going to go through endless mode, as I'm not to ruin the story for you guys. Basically, you're playing this man's minions leading up to what is eventually going to be a boss fight. He's so jabberjawy. Anyways, so what happens is, I'll fucking smack him. I gotta mute this guy. Because as I leave it here, he continues to talk, and it's a single player game, so having the NPC talk to you is actually a good thing. Just not right now. I'm trying to do the review. And I do like the music of this game, by the way. So, as you can see, I got the 4 cards out. Every time you start, the pattern of the cards is random. Now, what you want to do is, I'm playing endless mode, you want to get to the next floor, get to the next floor, get to the next floor, get to the next floor. Okay? When you're playing the single player, maybe you'll go 1 floor, you'll go 2 floors, and then you basically want to keep going till you get to the boss. Now, how the floors work is, Everton Hero. He'll give you a scenario that he will actually read off to you. And then you read it. You're going to ask him his troubles. You can ignore him and just move on, basically, if you want to plow through and get to the next area. I've been chasing a pack of thieves that attacked my home in the village of Embertown. I killed some of them in an ambush, but I fear I lack the strength to chase the rest of them down. So basically, your mission is going to be, if you choose, you can avenge him by going up there. So I already know that there's a fight up there. So if I choose to, I can do it. I don't have to go that way. I can go to one of these other 2 cards, which one of these is probably an exit to the next level. However, every time you move, you use resources. In this case, I'm using food every time I move. Once you run out of food, every move you make starts taking away health. If you have food, every move you make regains health. Cave mouth. Next step of your journey takes you to the cave, featuring an imposing forest. So this is the exit, right? That would go to the next floor. However, I want to show you what the battle is like in this game. So we're going to turn back. I don't have to leave yet. You can explore the entire area, or you can choose to go to the next one. Basically, when you're playing single player, obviously you probably want to do everything in there. However, if you want to get to the endless mode, you have to beat the first row of enemies, or the first row of bosses, and then the first boss of the second row in order to unlock endless mode. So basically you want to plow through those. But you really don't, because it's kind of like tutorial phase. So let's move. Let's go up here. Let's fight. Now, when I say Magic the Gathering is this, and mixed with Dungeons and Dragons, because Dungeons and Dragons, he's telling you the story. You're making the choices through the story. You're building your hero. Magic the Gathering is like you're building a deck to use that deck to battle another person, his champions. So, everything that you have in your deck is what you are allowed to use and buff your character with, or something like debuff your character when you get into a battle. So right now I'm just playing with the deck that I've been creating as I've been playing the game. Alright. Stay your hand. I'll refuse the deal because I want to fight. He deals you one monster card. Sometimes you get dealt 2 monster cards, and what comes up is random. They're pretty strong. So 2 of death. There'll be 2 enemies. There'll be grimy dudes, and they're moderately strong. But sometimes it's overwhelming because sometimes you'll be like, okay, well I'm gonna fight 2 guys, and then all of a sudden they'll pull out 2 cards, and you'll be fighting fucking 7 people, and it gets hard. So here's your dungeon main area, right? This is the Diablo part I was talking about. So you're fighting these 2 dudes. And you're dodging and you're fighting. The controls are pretty fluid. They're pretty tight, which is a must because you kind of need it to be like that in this part of the game, especially since this is not the entire game. However, there's a little bit of leeway for things that I've had problems with, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes when you're in a closed area like a cave, something will be in your way and obstruct the view, and you can't swing the camera around, and that fucking sucks. I'm not going to lie about it. It's actually killed me before on one of the boss fights because I could not see. And what happens is they have these symbols that glow above their head when you can dodge and when you can't dodge. And when you get caught in a 4-hit combo with a guy, chances are you're going to lose. Especially if you can't see that it's coming to duck and roll out of the way. Armory, draw 4. So I'm going to draw 4 weapons or armor. Let's see. There you go. And as you go, you get these cards that help you buff your character. Now, there is a limit on the story mode. You got 16 champions. And the story's decent. I mean, for a game like this, I don't really care about story. I'm sorry. I don't. I really just like the endless mode. And I want people to understand that when you're playing the endless mode, you're obviously just going to challenge yourself. So basically, anything that allows you to challenge yourself. Alright, you know what? Oops. Oh, fuck me. Anything that allows you to challenge yourself, I'm all about. So the story mode, I can take or leave at this point. I really don't care. The voice acting done by the dealer is awesome. Some of the other things in the games, like when someone's talking smack to you when you're in the battle arena, is fucking laughable. I'm trying to think of other complaints I had. Most of the complaints I have to do with the battlefield, but it's acceptable because it's not 100% of the game. So I let it slide. Sometimes it's a little bit laggy. Sometimes there's a thing obstructing your view. And then they have these ones that are actually mazes. And maybe there's one on here. Let me just check it out. Goblins. Oh, goblins are like the fucking treasure goblins in Diablo 2, by the way, because they steal your shit. You can get their shit back. You can get your shit back by beating them, and then some. However, they can jump in the portals and disappear with your shit, which has happened to me twice now. I don't like it, but like I said, it's all these different cards, and they are all different scenarios. So even if you're playing through one level and you get towards the end and you die, and you have to start back over at the beginning. Say you have a level that's 5 floors, you die on the 5th floor, last card, you have to start back at the first fucking floor, and it's completely random. So it's not like you know the path how to get there. Sounds like a complaint? I love that. I absolutely love that. It's not like a pattern that you can learn, and even if you get the same card, the results of what happens on the card might be different. Like I said, you might get goblins, and it'll say like, oh, 3 goblins, and you're fighting just 3 goblins, and goblins don't fight back. However, I got another card for goblins, and all of a sudden it was like 3 goblins, and then it was like 4 skeletons. So the skeletons are fighting you while you're trying to fight and get your shit back, and it adds a little variety, a little spice to the game, and the combinations aren't endless, but the game will feel endless. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's one thing that's bothering me is that people, some of the things I read online, people are like, it's an endless journey, and I might have said it a couple times. It's not really endless. There's an endless mode.
Take your time if you like. I've waited long enough.
There's an endless mode, but the game is not endless. However, the way that they set it up is that it would feel endless. And another thing I like about this is that you can keep playing the single player over and over. You can go back and re-challenge the things, and you can modify your deck. So basically, you can take the recommended deck and you can play, or you can modify your deck. So what I also like about this is a game that you can play in short bursts at a time, or you can sit down and play for a long time. And that also means that you can make it as uncomplicated or as complicated as you want. Mix and match your varieties and things like that. I haven't really gotten in depth of mixing around the deck too much. I will eventually, but this is definitely a game that you can get addicted to. So I recommend checking it out on Vita, PS4, or Steam today, February 17th at 4 o'clock. Thank you guys for watching.